How are we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 300, baby. Pereira vs. Hill on April 13th, 2024. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 13. We open up the card with Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt, a fight 4 years in the making, may I add. I'm going with Deiveson Figueiredo first round knockout. This fight, I'm looking at both these guys' styles. I'm looking at them both recently as they've been fighting. Cody Garbrandt, of course, on a 2-fight win streak over, let's be honest, not great competition. He had to wrestle Trevin Jones to beat him, and he knocked out Brian Kelleher, but, it's Brian Kelleher. Now, Cody can win this fight, because we have seen Deiveson Figueiredo go down to jabs. It looked like he had kind of a bad weight cut. His voice was kind of bad going into this. But I just don't think Cody has what it takes anymore to be high-level competition. I know he's only 32, and Deiveson's 36. But Deiveson looked really, really good against Rob Font. And Cody Garbrandt's been fighting these lower-level competition guys, and he has this high ego now where he's like, I can compete with higher level guys. Deiveson's counters are crisp at 135. He still is fast, which is something that Cody Garbrandt usually has over people. But I think the speed's going to be close on this one, and I think that nullifies everything Cody has. And even if Cody goes for takedowns, Deiveson has a nasty guillotine. So if Cody shoots on him, this could be bad. I just think that Deiveson's power is just going to literally nuke Cody Garbrandt with his counter jabs, counter straights. Like several times in that Rob Font fight, Rob Font would rush in and Deiveson would roll with the punch and just fucking shot put a piston jab into Rob Font's mouth. And I also feel like Cody Garbrandt throws naked strikes oftentimes. One of the reasons why he lost that Kai Kara-France fight is in boxing range. He just threw a naked leg kick with no setup, and Kai Kara-France absolutely dog-walked him from the rest of the fight after knocking him down. I think Deiveson Figueiredo's mindset is this is all or nothing at this point in his career. I think he understands he's older. He's 36 in lower weight divisions. That doesn't usually favor you. So he's going to have to fucking put everything on the line now at this point. And I think he's willing to do that against Cody Garbrandt. Cody, I think he understands he's younger. I think Deiveson's just going to spark him out in the first round, dude. This is an insane way to start the fucking card. Holy shit. I also think Deiveson Figueiredo, if he wants to, can wrestle Cody Garbrandt if he wants to. I feel like Deiveson's way stronger than Cody Garbrandt. Deiveson's a little strong goblin fuck. Deiveson Figueiredo, first round KO, please. We move to Bobby Green versus Jim fucking Miller. I'm going with Jim Miller, if I'm being honest. And here's my take on this fight. It's not even necessarily skill, more rather that Bobby Green legit took massive amounts of brain damage only 4 months ago against Jalen Turner. You never come back from those KOs. And I don't know why they cleared Bobby to fight Jim Miller this early from that fight, because there's no way he should be fighting. Let's be perfectly honest here. Jim Miller is a fucking marauder. He's only been KO'd once in his career. I have no idea how Bobby Green is going to finish Jim Miller. I don't see how. And Jim Miller on the ground, if he wants to, can submit Bobby Green. Jim Miller, I think most of his wins come by submission. He's just now recently knocking a bunch of dudes out with dad strength. Jim hits hard as well. And his whole style is exactly what you need to do against Bobby Green. You just need to pressure him against the fence, and when he's on the fence, you lay fucking bombs on him. That's exactly what you need to do. He's not no Ally Quinta. He's not no Grant Dawson, who gets dropped by jabs. Jim Miller's only been KO'd once in his fucking career, and that was due to a flush knee from fucking Dan Hooker when he was on his rise at lightweight. There's a difference. Listen, Bobby can definitely outpoint Jim Miller. Listen, I'm going to make points for both guys. Bobby Green can definitely outpoint Jim Miller. We've seen Alexander Hernandez do it, just striking from the outside. But when Bobby Green heard that $300K bonus, his ears perked up. Bobby's going to go for a finish in this one. And Jim Miller's all game. I think this KO is going to resemble the Drew Dober Bobby Green one. Bobby Green's winning the fight. He's kind of tagging up Jim Miller. Jim Miller's still walking forward, and he's just going to land a fucking bomb on Bobby Green. Bobby Green's going to go down. Because Bobby Green's chin isn't really that good. He's been dropped. He got dropped by Tony Ferguson, even though he won that fight. He got dropped by Jalen Turner, of course. He gets rocked by a lot of people when you hit him flush. His head movement is very good, which is why a lot of people think his chin is very good. But when Bobby gets hit, he has a visible reaction every time when you hit him. I think the only guy that he really didn't have a visible reaction from was maybe Rafael Fiziev. But that's because we don't even really know if Rafael Fiziev hits that hard. Alright? Bobby can outpoint him. I don't think he's going to make it to the decision, though. I think Jim Miller's going to knock him out with big meaty hooks. Just fucking... And if Jim Miller needs to, he'll take him down and submit him. I'll actually go second round submission for Jim Miller now that I'm thinking about it. I think he's going to drop Bobby Green and then submit him on the ground. I'll go rear naked choke as well for those. Or maybe Bobby is the one that shoots and he catches him with a nasty old man guillotine. I don't think age really matters in this fight. Both of these guys have a lot of fucking experience. They're both war-torn. Yeah. I think this is Jim Miller's time to show up again. He's won at every Centurion card. I think it's only right that he beats Bobby Green here. We move to Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Very entertaining fight, and I'm picking Marina Rodriguez by, I'll say second round, maybe third round TKO. This fight, I don't really understand why people are picking Jessica Andrade, if I'm being honest. I think this is one of the easiest fights to pick on the entire card. Marina Rodriguez, her only weakness is takedowns. She's fighting Jessica Andrade. I think that's all I really need to say. If you want to see a fight where a lady can't get takedowns like enough on Marina Rodriguez, watch her most recent performance against Michelle Waterson-Gomez. She fucked her up. Alright, She's good in the clinch. Her striking is very fast. Her only losses are in the UFC, I believe. Yep. She lost her last two prior to the Michelle Waterson-Gomez over Verna Jendradova, who's good at wrestling, and then Amanda Lemos, who kind of just like rocked her once and then finished her on the feet. It was like an early stoppage or whatever. I don't really care. Right? Now, Marina Rodriguez looks locked in, dude. She looked locked in as fuck in that Michelle Waterson-Gomez fight. Jessica Andrade is not going to shoot for takedowns, especially when $300K is on the line. Alright? Marina Rodriguez is going to rock this little girl around like nothing. I don't see how Jessica wins. Maybe submission for Jessica Andrade. I don't know, maybe a clinch submission. She got Amanda Lemos for one. But Marina Rodriguez is so much better in the clinch. Her knees, her elbows. Her first mixed martial art was Muay Thai. And you can see it. Her knees in the clinch are fucking mean as shit. Especially against shorter opponents. And that's especially why I'm picking Marina Rodriguez, because she does extremely well against shorter girls. I mean, Michelle Waterson-Gomez. I know they're not I know Jessica is not Michelle Waterson-Gomez, but listen, she's been fighting for a while, alright? she's been fighting for a while, dude. I just think this is a bad matchup for Jessica Andrade. I think Marina Rodriguez is going to kind of beat the shit out of Jessica Andrade on the feet, in the clinch. If it gets to the ground, that's when I'll have worry. On the feet, I'm not worrying for shit even then. because Marina Rodriguez actually does have good defensive striking on the feet. So, it is what it is. We move to Jalen Turner, the Tarantula, versus Renato Money Moicano. Oh, what I would do to pick Money Moicano. I'm going Jalen Turner, though. Listen, Jalen Turner probably had a bad weight cut. You never really know with him, because he doesn't really want to say that he had a bad weight cut, but you can tell because he's 6'3", fighting at lightweight. I just think Jalen Turner's going to knock out Renato Moicano. I think Jalen Turner's improving massively with his grappling, because I think that's all he really needs to work on. His striking is very insane. And Renato Moicano, while he is strong, the only thing you can't work on is your fucking jaw. And let's be honest, Renato Moicano has a really shitty jaw. Really glass jaw on him. He's been getting knocked out since he was fighting at featherweight. Literally, I think every single one of his losses, except Rafael dos Anjos, has been knockout. I think. Maybe one more. Maybe he's only been KO'd 3 times, but still. I know for sure Chan Sung Jung, Rafael Fiziev, and who was the other featherweight that did it? Was it Jose Aldo? I don't know. I think him and Jose Aldo. I think Jose Aldo did knock him out. I don't know. But that's besides the point. I think Jalen Turner, his straight shots, I don't think Renato Moicano has anything to offer on the feet with Jalen Turner. I know everyone's like, he's such a dual threat. His striking, he looked dog shit against Drew Dober. He looked shit. I don't care what anyone says. I love Renato. I'm being honest with him right now. He looked absolute fucking ass in that Drew Dober fight. He got saved because Drew Dober went for a judo throw in the clinch. You know who's not going to do that? Most likely Jalen Turner. He'll only do it if you're really, really hurt, right? We saw him do that against, I think, Joshua Kulabau. Or did he knock him down and then finish him on the ground? I thought it was like a judo throw type thing. I don't really remember. But Jalen's not dumb like that. He doesn't have bad fight IQ. He just has a bad gas tank. I think he'll finish him early, round 1. Listen, Jalen Turner, when he lands on people, he breaks parts of their body. Renato Moicano is going to be a broken man whether he wins or loses this fight. Jalen Turner is going to I think he's just going to murder him, if I'm being honest. Everyone's bringing up Jalen Turner's record. He's 14-7. Huh. Cool. Just stay mad when Renato Moicano's in a bloody heap on the fucking ground. Keep the same energy. We move to Sadiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopez. This one's actually really tough, if I'm being honest. I think I'm siding with Diego Lopez. I really don't mind a Sadiq Yusuff pick here, because I think Sadiq Yusuff might be able to neutralize grappling with just... He has decent takedown defense. But then I'm watching like Edson Barboza take him down and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't really like that one bit. I also think Sadiq Yusuff might be able to guillotine Diego Lopez. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Sadiq has a kind of a nasty guillotine on him, just fucking wrapping up the neck. Ugh. But that was against like a guy like Don Shainis, right? Who we learned does not belong in the UFC at fucking all. So, Diego, he has a lot of aura coming into this fight. I mean, he hits hard. He rocked Movsar Evloev. I think it's also hard to pick against Diego Lopez. I can understand a Sadiq Yusuff pick, though. And I almost want to pick him. But I think Diego Lopez has proven himself already in the UFC. I know knocking out Pat Sabatini isn't really that big of an accomplishment, because Damon Jackson also did that. But he also worked Gavin Tucker, and that guy was pretty good. But prior to that, I know he was coming off like injuries and shit like that. But being competitive with Movsar Evloev is really what put this guy on the map. With just submissions, he is so submissively smart. I think he might be able to get Sadiq Yusuff on the ground. And also, I think we're all forgetting that Sadiq Yusuff's coming off an injury. Coming off a 5-round war and an injury he sustained in that fight. I think it was like a broken hand or something. So obviously, Sadiq Yusuff is not going to be 100%. He's not going to be 100%. I know broken hands don't really take that long to heal, but like still. Shit. I think Sadiq Yusuff... I think Sadiq Yusuff should win. I think he should. But I think Diego Lopez has so much momentum right now, it's going to carry on into this fight. Sadiq Yusuff just lost a 5-round war with Edson Barboza. I don't think he's going to be all there mentally. Right? That was his first time to really show out, and he kind of just... I know he broke his hand, but his gas tank also didn't really look that great. In the second round, he looked super slow. Super slow, Sadiq Yusuff. But Diego Lopez, I think he's going to... And also Sadiq Yusuff, his chin also is kind of weird. And defensive striking-wise, he kind of leaves stuff open, like the body and the head. All you really need to do against Sadiq Yusuff is a really good jab. And Edson Barboza showed that. And I think Diego Lopez is a little bit... He's younger. Only by a little bit. He has so much more experience, though. Also has the reach and height advantage. I think this is just a... I think Diego Lopez might sub him in the second round. I'll go Diego Lopez submission. I'll go with head and arm choke. That's what I'll go with. I think Sadiq Yusuff will slow down, and Diego will choke him out. We move to Holly Holm versus bantamweight Kayla Harrison. I'm going with Kayla Harrison. Listen, I understand Kayla Harrison looked like death on the scales. She's going to, alright? We all knew this coming in. This isn't like a different thing. When I'm watching Kayla Harrison fight, and I'm watching her strike, I think people are like hyping it down a little bit too much. It's not that bad. The only thing she really needs to work on is making setups with her strikes, because she kind of just throws them. She's kind of fast, and she works them into her takedowns, right? And if you pressure her too much, she'll double leg and fucking drop you, alright? Listen, I understand Holly Holm is looking better in the clinch and on the ground and this and that and the other, but she's still 42. Kayla's 33, okay? Kayla is going to youth bully Holly Holm in this fight, and I don't care. And if I'm being honest, does Holly Holm even look that good right now? No, she doesn't. I'm surprised she hasn't retired yet. She's 42! I think this fight's going to be a really big showing for Kayla Harrison. I think Kayla Harrison's going to fuck up Holly Holm in this fight. I think this is just a bad matchup, all in all. I think Kayla Harrison's way better on the ground. She's able to throw elbows now. The last time she was able to throw elbows, she legit, made her opponent look like fucking a tomato. But it wasn't bruises, it was just straight blood everywhere. Because she's been competing in the PFL for so long that she's not able to throw elbows, which, by the way, is still one of the dumbest fucking rules. If you were allowed to throw elbows in the PFL, I think that would be way more entertaining. Kayla Harrison's ripped. She's jacked. She's very strong. That's all you really need to do against Holly Holm. Be stronger than her. And Kayla Harrison is going to be way, way stronger than her. And I know the weight cut's definitely going to play a part into Kayla Harrison's performance, but it's 42 Holly Holm. Let's be honest. It's not that great. So, Kayla Harrison, I'll go with unanimous decision 29-28. Because I think Holly Holm might be able to pick it up in the third round, possibly. We'll see. We move to Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm going Calvin Kattar, if I'm being honest. Listen, Aljo looks very good at featherweight. Very good. Big, full body. Doesn't look as shredded, of course, but he looks fucking huge. When I'm looking at this matchup, and I'm seeing that Calvin Kattar has a 91% takedown defense, Listen, Aljo isn't known for getting takedowns. He kind of has to work a lot for him. Him and Merab kind of have the same qualities where they kind of just shoot until they get it. But Aljo's gas tank is significantly worse than Merab's. I think that this is probably the worst matchup for Aljo outside that top 5. And listen, I understand Calvin is coming off the injury. Listen, torn knee, blew his knee out, right? That's terrible. And it was on his opposite leg that Aljo's not grabbing, so he has to put a lot of weight on it. But he's taking time off from then. And I think Calvin's gas tank is just significantly better. A lot of people are like, well, Aljo's fought 5-round title fights for so long. But Calvin Kattar, prior to this fight, has fought 5 main events in a row. In a row, dude. And he also had the 3-round main event with Zabit Magomedsharipov, who if Zabit took 5 rounds on that fight, he would have lost. Calvin, listen, he does get hit a lot, and he doesn't check leg kicks, which those things definitely suit Aljamain Sterling. He throws a lot of leg kicks, throws some body kicks. The straight shots of Aljo, I feel, will be there. But the thing is Aljo going to hurt Calvin Kattar? Fuck no, he isn't. Hell no, he is. No, he's not. Calvin Kattar, he has a fucking... Listen, you can hurt him. You're never dropping him. Alright? You hear me? You're never dropping him. That Arnold Allen fight was just starting to heat up. I think Arnold Allen still would have won. Let's be honest, if we're watching the fight, Arnold was starting to land a lot of good shit on Calvin. If Calvin keeps it to the traditional shit, just looks for, the only way I think Aljo will be able to get his takedowns, right, is if they're in the pocket and Calvin throws and overthrows like elbows or a hook, then he'll be off balance, then Aljo might be able to get him. That is the only way that he will do that to Calvin Kattar. And the thing is, you can definitely do that to Calvin Kattar because he does overthrow a lot. He does overswing. But I think Calvin's going to just... Most people, when they come off of injuries, they look for safe shit. They look for safe wins. And I think Calvin Kattar's going to do that against Aljamain Sterling. He's going to look for a safe win. I know 300K is on the line. Calvin's going to make it a bloody mess if he has to, but I think he'll try and keep it traditional. And Aljo, I want Aljo to win. I would love to see Aljamain Sterling win this fight. I just don't see it happening. I think Calvin Kattar's a terrible matchup for him. Takedown defense-wise, I think it's straight shots, elbows. We know Aljamain Sterling doesn't have the best chin. Calvin also likes to throw knees up the middle when he can. And we all see how Aljo does against knees. It doesn't go well. So, I think Calvin might be able to knock Aljamain out. 3rd round TKO or 2nd round. Possibly a 1st. I know I just said all 3 rounds, but they're all for varying different reasons. 3rd round because the gas tank. 2nd round because maybe Aljo starts to slow down, and that's when Calvin starts to land more. In the 1st round, just flush KO with a knee. I'll say 2nd round TKO Calvin Kattar. We move to the featured prelim, Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. I'm going Alexander Rakic, if I'm being honest. Listen, this fight, I think Alexander's just better than Yuri. The only way Yuri wins is if he clips Alexander Rakic, and that I stand by that. And that could very well happen. Rakic leaves major openings in the pocket that Yuri can exploit. If you want to see Rakic getting tagged around, watch the Jan Blachowicz fight in that 1st round. Rakic starts very well. He throws himself out there, though. He overthrows a lot. Leaves some openings. But the thing is, to beat Rakic, you have to throw leg kicks and be able to check leg kicks. And we know Yuri doesn't check leg kicks. It's not in the Samurai Code. Also, body kicks from Rakic are mean, dude. And he has very good takedown, awareness and ground control. He legit controlled Yuri for 4 minutes and 30 seconds of a round. Not Yuri, Jan. He controlled Jan for 4 minutes and 30 seconds of a round. That's impressive as shit. On the ground, that is insane. And he also hits pretty hard. Yuri, the only way he'll win is if he clips Rakic in the pocket, which could happen because Rakic kind of just doesn't really reset himself. He doesn't put his hands back to his face. If there's anyone on this card that I want to win, it is Yuri Prochazka. I'll say that a couple more times in this video. But I think he's just not good enough to beat a guy like Rakic. I think this is a bad matchup. I think Rakic might wrestle him. Because again, Rakic is coming off an injury. He wants a safe win. If he beats Yuri Prochazka, you could kind of argue that maybe he deserves a title shot more than Magomed, especially if he finishes him, right? And listen, it sucks that he's going to beat Yuri because everyone loves Yuri. I love Yuri so much. And if there's two people in the light heavyweight division that I don't want to see get title shots, it's Magomed Ankalaev and Alexander Rakic. But I think that's what our life is going to be like for the next year or so. I think Alexander's going to leg kick him to death. I think he's going to throw body kicks. He throws a really long 1-2. And Yuri, I don't know what it is about him, but he just kind of is weird when it comes to that stuff. He's not very defensively smart. He's kind of dumb. Kind of stupid, Yuri, but, and also his chin also isn't that great, so. If it goes longer, I think Alexander's just going to wrestle him. I think he'll probably win 30-27. This will probably be a fight that should get a finish, but it probably won't, because Alexander will try and make it boring. We move to the start of the main card. Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. I'm going Cody Brundage. I'm kidding. I'm going Bo Nickel, of course. Biggest favorite in UFC history, biggest underdog in UFC history, on the biggest card in UFC history. Why is that a thing? Who the fuck knows? Bo Nickel, I think he's just going to be able to out-wrestle Cody. Listen, Cody, he might, if Bo Nickel's chin is bad enough, he might be able to knock him out. I said I'll try and make an argument for everybody, but this is like a really hard fight to do that for. So, I think Bo Nickel's just going to out-wrestle him, because Cody Brundage has a very good 2 minutes in him. After that, his IQ goes out the fucking window. So watch out for the first 2 minutes, because anything can happen in a Cody Brundage fight in the first 2 minutes. A disqualification, a slam knockout, a comeback win. Cody hits pretty hard. I mean, we saw that in the Rodolfo Vieira fight. I think it's just the fact that he's so dumb. It's why he loses a lot of his fights. He's just not smart. He also got ground and pound TKO'd from, like, full guard. So, if that shows anything, Bo Nickel's going to win this fight. This is probably confident pick right. We move to Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. Holy shit, this is going to be so fun. I'm going with Charles Oliveira. Listen, I fully understand picking Arman Tsarukyan, and I almost want to pick him. Charles cannot be on the ground with Arman Tsarukyan with Arman on top of him. Let me say that again. He cannot play pussyfooting on the ground with Arman Tsarukyan in full guard. I'll say it again once more. He cannot sit on the ground and play time looking for submissions. He has to keep this standing with Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan has gotten ground and pound TKOs from full guard. Look at the Joel Alvarez fight. He did massive amounts of damage to Joel Alvarez. He cannot sit in full guard with him. He cannot play the ground game with him. Because I'll tell you what, Beneil Dariush was missing a lot of his ground and pound. If he was landing that, the fight could have been a little different. Arman Tsarukyan don't miss. He lands. Charles has to keep this standing. And here's the thing. The reason why I'm picking Charles Oliveira, I think Arman Tsarukyan's IQ is a little bad. If Arman Tsarukyan had good fight IQ, he would chain takedowns and ragdoll people, because we've seen him able to do that. I mean, he fucked up Damir Ismagulov. He fucked up Beneil Dariush on the feet. He's able to ragdoll people, but he just chooses to strike with them, because it's like one knockout, and he's like, yeah, I feel good, this feels good. And the thing is, since he knocked out Beneil, he's going to entertain the stand-up way more in this fight, and that's where his downfall is going to be. I think Arman, the emotions are getting to him being on UFC 300. At the press conference, it seemed like he was sad that he was getting booed. I think he knew he was going to get booed. It was like visibly getting to him. His voice was shaky. He was like, the Charles win would be good. He sounded shaky as shit. Charles is mogging him. I also think that his style works well against a guy like Arman Tsarukyan. They're both stalkers. They're both marauders who walk forward a lot. I think Charles is going to be walk forward a little bit more than Arman Tsarukyan, because Charles has fought guys who usually do walk forward. Dustin Poirier usually tries to walk forward. Justin Gaethje tries to walk forward. Michael Chandler tries to walk forward. He was able to stalk those guys down to the cage. And you never see that from people. People are going to compare this fight to Islam versus Charles. It's just not a fair comparison. Arman is good. No one is Islam Makhachev. Let me repeat that again. No one is Islam Makhachev. Arman is definitely not Islam Makhachev. He just isn't. Alright? Arman on the feet. People are going to use the one clip of Joaquim Silva rocking him with a left hook. What they won't show you is the 5 other left hooks he landed in that same exact round. Arman, defensively, is not smart on the feet. He exaggerates things. He overdoes stuff, like going for clinch exchanges. He overextends his arms, walking forward. Charles is going to clip him if he does that in this fight. And in the clinch, he likes the clinch a lot. He likes to throw knees. You can't do that against Charles either, because Charles is very good in the clinch. Knees, elbows. He is a mean motherfucker in clinch exchanges, and Arman Tsarukyan tries to rest in those positions. He's not going to be able to. What I am scared about in this fight is if Charles fights like he did against Beneil Dariush for the first 3 minutes, if he accepts being on the ground with Arman Tsarukyan. He cannot do that. When he got up against Beneil Dariush, it looked like he could have done it a while ago. He can easily hip escape. But what he likes to do is look for submissions, because that is his fucking Curtis Blades moment. That is his first mixed martial arts. That's what he reverts back to a lot of the time, is his jiu-jitsu. He cannot do that against Arman Tsarukyan. I don't think Arman Tsarukyan has ever been submitted. He has 3 losses, right? The one against Mateusz Gamrot, the one against Islam, and then when he got knocked out on the regional scene. I just think that I think Arman, if this would have been on any other card, I think Arman might have a better chance. I think the fact that it's in front of so many people, it's on the biggest stage of the world, I think Arman is starting to get to him that if he loses this, he's going to be clowned forever. And I think he is going to end up being clowned forever. I think Charles Oliveira, I'll go second round TKO. That's what he's saying. Arman also slows down striking-wise. He slows down significantly, and he slowed down against a slower, probably less hard power Joaquim Silva. I know Joaquim Silva hits hard, and they also have tape on Arman Tsarukyan already from when fucking Joaquim Silva fought him. They're already putting that game plan into Charles's head. He already has info on him, right? They already had a fucking game plan for fucking Arman. It all depends on if Charles shows up. And I don't think Charles had that bad of a weight cut. I know he always has bad weight cuts. He didn't look that bad on the scales this time around. He didn't look that bad. He didn't look as sunken in as he usually does. Which is good. So I'll go Charles Oliveira second round TKO. If there's another guy on this card that I want to win, it is going to be Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Charlie's. Holy fucking shit. BMF title fight. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. Holy shit, I'm so excited. Listen, I know it's kind of like the thing now to pick Max Holloway. Listen, I swear to you, I am not a bandwagon guy. I have been saying this to my family, my brother, my dad. Since this fight got announced, I think Max Holloway is going to win. Listen, I think this is just a terrible overall matchup for Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, listen, Lucas Tracy made a lot of good points about this fight. I watch a lot of guys who pick these fights. He made a lot of great points about Max Holloway. In recent times, Max Holloway hasn't had the volume that he usually has. Maybe that's just due to damage. Maybe that's just due to him being a little bit older, a little bit slower. But Max Holloway is going to still output Justin Gaethje. And if you don't think so, you're dumb. Alright? I think Max Holloway, his volume is just way significantly better than Justin Gaethje. He will break Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, the only times where you'll see him get finished is later in the fight, and that's what I think is going to happen. Other than Charles Oliveira, of course. But that's because, Charles is fucking Charles. Every other time Justin Gaethje has lost, it is when he is so fatigued and so tired that his chin is just even more exposed and he can't defend himself. Because I'll tell you what, Justin Gaethje does have a bad chin. Let's just get that out of the way. I've been saying it for a while. He has a bad chin. He has good recovery, though. The only time you'll ever see Justin Gaethje lose is when you either knock him down and he's literally unconscious, like Eddie Alvarez and Charles Oliveira did, or when you pressure him and he's so tired that he makes mistakes. Like against Dustin Poirier. You cannot just swarm him with strikes like a Michael Chandler. You have to pick your shots. And there is nobody in the UFC that does that better than fucking Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a shot pick merchant, alright? He does it so well. The only time where he showed bad fight IQ is really against Dustin Poirier when he moved up, right? When he did the flying knee or whatever, when he had him hurt or whatever bullshit happened there. Max Holloway, people are going to use his recent fights. Arnold Allen, he had a close decision with Arnold Allen. What the he's going to beat Justin Gaethje? Arnold Allen, up to that point, was undefeated in the UFC. And I know we're seeing that Arnold Allen has lost 2 in a row, but that's against Max Holloway and fucking Movsar Evloev, who's undefeated, and Max Holloway's fucking Max Holloway, right? I think Max Holloway is going to make this, and don't get me wrong, I don't think Max Holloway is going to blow Justin Gaethje out of the water. I think anyone that thinks that is stupid. If you don't think Justin Gaethje is going to be able to hurt Max Holloway, I think you're also dumb. I think people saying that Justin Gaethje doesn't have knockout power in his hands are dumb. Justin Gaethje hits extremely hard. I think we're going to see another situation earlier in this fight where Justin Gaethje is able to rock Max Holloway like Dustin Poirier did in their fight. It's just a matter of Justin is not Dustin when it comes to picking shots after you rock somebody. Justin is very loopy when it comes to that type of stuff. I think Max is just better. I think that's all it is. And the fact that when you ask fighters, like actual fighters who they think is going to win, most are saying Max Holloway. When you ask the general audience, a lot of them are going to say Justin Gaethje. Because they think Justin Gaethje is going to knock him out. Because he's moving up a weight class. And Max Holloway last time he moved up. Max Holloway has known about this fight since at least October. At least October. He might have known about it earlier than that, is what some people are saying. I know he for sure knew about it since October. He's bulked up. He has the floral shorts. He is in the fucking zone for this fight. I think he's just going to pitter-patter his way in. Max Holloway has like poison damage when it comes to his strikes. He hits even harder when it goes later in the fight. And now that there's $300K on the line, you gotta be smoking dick if you think that Max Holloway is going to revert back to like Arnold Allen and the Korean Zombie fight. He is going to put on a Calvin Kattar-esque volume performance in this fight. Now, is Justin Gaethje Calvin Kattar? No. He has a worse chin than Calvin Kattar. I think Justin Gaethje will go down in round 4, and then Max Holloway will become the BMF title holder in round 4. I think Justin Gaethje has weapons to win this fight. Example are leg kicks. Max Holloway, of course, he was eating them against Alexander Volkanovski, but I think that's mostly due to him having to lower his stance a lot. Justin Gaethje might be able to leg kick him a lot. I like Justin Gaethje in the pocket now. He's very patient. He doesn't overthrow on a lot. In that Charles Oliveira fight that Justin Gaethje had, he literally overthrew a hook so much that he literally did a 360 and spun on his ass, right? I don't think we're going to see that from Justin Gaethje. Maybe we will. Who knows? When Max Holloway has Justin Gaethje hurt, it's going to be way different than when Justin Gaethje has Max Holloway hurt. Okay? Max Holloway is going to get hurt. We might see Justin Gaethje knock down Max Holloway in this fight. I'm not super opposed to it. Okay? But I think Max Holloway, he's just going to be able to, I think he's going to beat Justin Gaethje up later in the fight, and he's going to get a TKO in the 4th round. Justin Gaethje will probably do very well early on, as he normally does, but I think Max Holloway is going to catch him in the 4th. I think it's mostly just volume and output in combinations. Justin Gaethje doesn't throw a lot, Max Holloway, you'll see him throw 5 to 6 punch combinations. Justin Gaethje's vary 1 to 2 punch combinations. The most you'll ever see him throw is maybe 4. All right. I also think Max Holloway going to the body in this fight would suit him very well. It would suit him very fucking well in this fight. So, Max Holloway, round 4 TKO. We move to Zhang Weili taking on Yan Xiaonan. I think this is honestly a very easy... I think Zhang Weili is going to win. Pretty easy. Yan Xiaonan, I understand she has stopping power in her hands. I mean, she knocked out Jessica Andrade. You rarely see that now. Yan Xiaonan is improving on the ground, but I think that's what is going to be her downfall, right? I think if Carla Esparza and Mackenzie Dern are able to get favorable positions on you, I think Zhang Weili is going to absolutely dominate you on the ground. And Yan Xiaonan, she probably will land some stuff on Zhang Weili, but Zhang Weili looks better every performance we see her in. That Amanda Lemos performance was fucking nuts. Dude, it was incredible. I mean, that's defying humiliation is one of my favorite MMA things, where it's like defying humiliation. It shows a fight. Dude, she outstruck her like 280 to 20, right? Zhang Weili is a marauder at this division. I know I've said that a couple times in this video, but she really is. She has stopping power in her hands. Her wrestling looks better than ever. She's strong as shit. I think Yan Xiaonan, I think everyone in strawweight besides Tatiana Suarez is just a step behind every time when they fight Zhang Weili. I think she's just a full 3 steps in front of everybody. I think the only person who can compete with her is mostly Tatiana Suarez, but that's just because she's big and she can wrestle, right? Zhang Weili, I think, will make this fight not look easy, but have relative to no, retaliation when it comes to her getting dominant positions. I think she's going to stop Yan Xiaonan. I think I'll go with 3rd round TKO, ground and pound. Probably crucifix, elbows, maybe a submission, I don't know. Listen, Yan Xiaonan's good, but I don't think she's no Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili, besides Rose Namajunas, is going to win every fight in the UFC, and I stand by that statement. Holy shit. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill, the main event of UFC 300. Whew. I'm going to go with Alex Pereira. Listen, I want to pick Jamal Hill because I think that he has a very good chance of winning this fight until you look at fundamentals of certain things. Listen, I understand Jamal Hill has been doing this longer than Alex Pereira, but you cannot discount kickboxing credentials. People that say, just he fighted 4 years MMA. Jamal Hill's been doing this for a long ass time. They don't understand kickboxing is still a form of mixed martial art. The only difference between kickboxing and MMA is just the ground aspect of it. You can do literally everything else in kickboxing than MMA. In MMA, just minus the ground game. Really, that's really it. That's all. And also, I think, are elbows illegal in kickboxing? I don't think they are. I think they're illegal, right? Or are those... I'm not sure. I know knees are legal in kickboxing. I forget if... Because elbows are... Is that more Muay Thai? I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen Alex Pereira throw an elbow in kickboxing. Have I? I know I've definitely seen him throw a flying knee against Jason Wilness. Holy shit. I just think, listen, Jamal Hill, his footwork, his defensive mechanics kind of just falter against guys who aren't able to capitalize on it because they don't hit hard enough, or they're tired, or they just don't see it early on enough. Like, go over to Sharon Thiago Santos. Lucas Tracy made a whole hit list video on Jamal Hill about this, about his defensive style and his footwork. His footwork, he's very standstillish. He doesn't bounce a lot. His leg is there to be kicked. And he's also coming off an Achilles injury, which is possibly the worst injury to suffer in any sport known to man. Achilles is a thing you can rarely come back from. The only guy I've ever seen do it is Kobe Bryant, who plays basketball. And didn't KD hurt his Achilles as well? But those guys are fucking big as shit. They aren't throwing kicks. They're running a lot. Jamal Hill throws a lot of kicks with that right side. He throws a lot of kicks with it. I think Alex Pereira hits harder, and he's going to be able to capitalize on the situations that the guys that saw the situations against Jamal Hill weren't able to, like Glover Teixeira, Thiago Santos, etc. Jamal Hill doesn't return his hands back to his face. He leans them down at his waist, man. And I love Jamal Hill. Michigan. That's the boy right there. That's the fucking man. I want Jamal Hill to win this fight to shut everyone the fuck up. But I just don't see it. I misspoke. Jamal Hill can win this fight just based on Alex Pereira's chin, and the fact that the biggest weapon of Jamal Hill is really like a 1-2, maybe an overhand as well. Alex Pereira's defensive mechanics as well, let me just say this, fucking suck. I don't know how you can kickbox and box for as long as Alex Pereira does and have some of the worst defensive mechanics I've ever seen him. He literally just backs up with his hands in the air like that, like Alex Morono, and just backs up. I don't understand how you can kickbox and box for as long as you have and have shitty defense like that. But it's worked. I mean, listen, I say it's shitty, but I guess it works at a high level. And also, I think his chin's better at light heavyweights. He isn't getting cracked as much. I mean, Jan Blachowicz and Yuri Prochazka were landing flush shots on him. He didn't falter, right? Jamal Hill has a lot of good mechanics and good tools in his skill set. But Alex Pereira is so bread and butter, and his bread and butter is the best bread and butter there is. And he mixes in other shit too. I think he's going to kick the leg out of Jamal Hill because he's there to be kicked. He'll maybe land a head kick. I think the left hook is going to be wide open on Jamal Hill after seeing some tape and seeing that he doesn't bring his right hand back to his face. Also, Jamal Hill's eye is going to be fucked up in this fight, which doesn't help him whatsoever. Every single fight, something happens with his eyes. I don't know if it's because he has a lot of like tissue there or whatever, but his eye, one of his eyes always blows up. And in Thiago Santos, it was his left eye where it was above. In the Glover Teixeira fight, it was his right eye under. Alex Pereira is going to hit him a lot. And also, if Jamal Hill wants to win this fight, he can definitely just ground Alex Pereira and maybe be able to get a TKO on the ground. Because Alex Pereira, listen, when you get him out in open, he isn't as great as he is, right? He has improved takedown defense, but Jamal Hill can definitely get him down, let's be honest. But he doesn't want to. He wants to fuck. Alex Pereira is going to knock out Jamal Hill in the second round, for sure. Left hook. Left hook Larry, the true left hook Larry of the sport. I just think Alex Pereira finds openings. He's very good at reading his opponents. Jamal Hill, he's coming off the injury. Hasn't fought in a while. Last time out, he fought a withered Glover Teixeira that some people, for some reason, were picking. I don't know why people picked Glover Teixeira in that fight. Jamal Hill was obviously going to win. I think this fight he loses. And I'll go with Alex Pereira round 2 TKO once more. And this time, it won't be a controversial stoppage, even though I think that the Yuri Prochazka stoppage was a good one when you really look at like the fundamentals of what happened. Listen, Yuri definitely got stopped a little early, but when you look at it from the ref's point of view, it was a good stoppage, all right? And I'll explain that maybe later if you guys want me to. But Alex Pereira, round 2 TKO, left hook, for sure. Lock it in. I'm UFC Thoughts. These have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 300, Pereira vs. Hill on April 13th, 2024. My confident picks reside with Marina Rodriguez, Bo Nickel, and then the BMF title fight, Max Jerome Holloway. My pre-card rating is a 10 out of 10. This is legit the best card ever crafted, head to toe, in UFC's history. Anyone who says any other card, I don't care. Because I don't understand what the hype was with 100 and 200. I was literally like 2 years old when UFC 100 came out. Maybe one. I don't know. Was it 2008 or 2009? I wasn't watching the sport when UFC 200 happened. I was also pretty young for that. I just recently, like, the first card onwards from then that I started watching every card was UFC 256, which was Figueiredo Moreno 1, right? Ever since then, I've watched every single card, right? Every single fucking one. And I love this sport. I've been viewing it prior to that. I think the first ever card I ever watched was Conor Nate Diaz 1, right? I am a Conor McGregor era fan. I am not afraid to admit it. That is who I am. It is what I am. But that's what got a lot of people in the sport. UFC 300 is the best fucking card ever. Ever. Hands down. Anyone who says otherwise is stupid. I cannot wait to watch this shit. I hope you guys are too. I'll see you guys after the fights. This is going to be a fucking fun one. Peace.